Hey guys, Kogwe here, back with another one, and let's talk about how the America we grew up in is gone. The America I grew up in was a lot more fun, was a lot more free, and there was a lot more socializing that was going on when I was young. Growing up in America was a great place to be at that time, right? There was a lot of things to do. We were playing out with our friends. We were learning how to play sports. We were playing video games in the house whenever we wanted to. There was no worry because your parents took care of everything and they let you do what you want. And that's how life was growing up for me in America, and I'm sure it was the same way for a lot of other people. Contrast to that, in today's day and age, you're growing up in America, I think, is a lot different. You might ask, well, why is it different now growing up versus when you grew up? Well, it's different because kids nowadays, they had school on the internet. They had school online. We had to actually go to school in person and make friends, talk to the teachers, present your homework in a certain way. And then after school, you could do extracurricular activities. You could play sports, join clubs, you name it. And now everything is quite the opposite. Everything now is you just go home, go on your phone, and don't do anything else unless you love sports. That's a different story. But majority of kids I see, they love to go on their phones and browse social media and just be a blob, essentially, not not doing anything afterwards, not trying to better yourself while you're growing up, which is really important in those years. Kids today, I think they missed out a lot back when we were growing up, because you could walk outside freely. You could go buy chips at your local store. You could go buy food, anything you want. It was pretty safe, I'd say, back then. And nowadays, everybody has, cameras installed around their houses. Everything has to be tip-top shape. Kids are more likely, to just stay in the house because of the environment they're growing up in, and it's honestly a shame that it's the way it is, because as you grow up, you have to get out more. You have to make friends. Learn how to talk to people. So yeah, I also think there's a loss of community and trust. Growing up, there was a lot of belief in your neighbors, looking out for your neighbors, making sure that they're that they're doing good, that they're all right. And now I think, it's the complete opposite. We used to trust teachers, police officers, local leaders, and now that's all gone. The trust is gone, the belief is gone, and it's wild that it's become this way, but it is what it is. Nowadays, everything feels much more transactional, such as friendships, family life. Feels like you have to pay to play to be a part of the groups now, whereas it used to be much more simpler and people just did regular human things before. But now it's like everything costs so much. Like, I mean, everything from food, from family, from buying people gifts. I mean, everything costs a fortune now. You really have to watch out what you spend on, and you got to watch your savings, and it's a whole lot of politics that are behind it now. And it's like you're not a part of the group, you're not part of the tribe if you don't have money, if you're not born into money, which is so sad. Hey guys, back home to finish this video. Again, it was so hot in the car, so I had to stop it there and decide to do it at home. But let's talk about jobs in America. Obviously, everyone who is of age works a job, and it's a lot different then than it was now, because jobs are jobs are your life. Before, jobs were just a part of your life, but now jobs are literally your life, because when you get home, you're not just relaxing. You're probably thinking about how the day went at work. Did I do a good job? And then you're probably thinking about the next day at work, like, what have I got to do tomorrow? Am I gonna be okay for tomorrow? Am I gonna get called into the office tomorrow, right? Is my boss gonna say if I did something wrong? Like, I think people have these thoughts often. You know, in their lives about their work, and if they're doing a good job, if they're presenting themselves well, if they have a good attitude, these things of that nature. So there's that aspect of growing up in America now versus then. Like, I guess then, you just go home, you work your job, you go home, and life was easy. Life was much more simpler back then, I think, because I remember my parents doing it, and they go home, they spend time with their kids, they watch TV, they wind down, relax, and the next day, it was a much more simpler life back then, I think. But now it's so much more magnified that we always have to be on our A game at our jobs, and there you can't have a, let's say, an excuse about, like, if your day's going bad, or if you need a break, or things of that nature. So yeah. And then we have freedom of speech. I think nobody back then really cared about what people talked about. At least that's how it came off to me growing up. But nowadays, I think that the government just steps in way too much, and they don't allow certain things to be said, which is fundamentally counter to what the American First Amendment is. And I think we should just be able to speak on whatever we like, but that isn't the case nowadays. If you say something that you're not supposed to, or if you think it's the right thing to say, you might get canceled, or you might get fired, or you might get clowned down for it. And it's not the America that I grew up in. The America that I grew up in, you could say whatever you like, whenever you want, obviously not disrespecting anybody, not going past any boundaries, not stepping on any toes, but you could say what you like without getting repercussions for it, without getting it, without there being a consequence for it, right? Again, as long as it's morally and ethically right to speak about what you're going to speak about, then okay. But if it's blatantly wrong, then yeah, don't talk about it. But I think that the government just has too much power over people, and they instill that fear in people because once the government says you can't do it, people follow it, and if you break that rule, the government's gonna, quote unquote, come after you for what the things you said. But I think that's wrong. I think that people should be able to speak freely about what they want, hence freedom of speech. That is why we have that amendment in America, and I think people need to exercise that much more than they do now, and really express themselves the way they like. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, please smash that like button. I would really appreciate it. And subscribe to the channel if you're new. It would help me out a lot, and it keeps me going to make these videos. It keeps me motivated, keeps me just in an uplifted mood when new people watch the videos, new people subscribe. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about this America that we grew up in. Is it the same as it was before, or is it different? Let me know what you guys think, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.